All right. We got some stuff we got to talk about today, folks. Okay. Finally, Woody Johnson has put out a statement as well as Robert Salah, so we have to get into that as well as sort of like a breaking news ish type of thing. The new intern head coach, Jeff Ulbrich, if sorry if I butchered your last name, but Todd Downing has been named the offensive play caller for the Jets offense. Nate Hackett will remain on the staff and no title change, as well as Jeff Ulbrich will be the head coach, defensive coordinator, and primary defensive play caller. We got to talk about all of that, as well as the Thursday night football game tonight, 49ers versus Seahawks preview. We got to talk about one of the most anticipated games of this season, in my mind, Commanders versus Ravens, Steelers versus I can't even speak. I'm so excited. Commanders versus Ravens, Steelers versus Raiders, Eagles versus Browns. We're going to try to keep this short. I can't promise you. We might have a little bit of a rant too, because finally the kid himself, George Pickens, finally speaks. So all of this and more on the 39th episode. That's right. We are one episode away from the 40th episode of the Football Junkies podcast. Okay. I am your host. I'm all those titles that you know. Bag Rodamus, chief head of the table, bag meteorologist. Okay. Most importantly, I am a GM who currently is not on a team right now. But guess what? Don't matter, because guess what? I still have mock drafts coming and going, different options, different things, different scenarios. But don't worry about all of that, because guess what? We're still far away from the draft, okay? But most importantly, the most important title that you must remember is I am your host. Okay, the person that you listen to on a day-to-day basis to get your football junkies fix. Okay, I'm all these things and more. Okay, but most importantly, I'm your host, Kale. You already know what I'm getting ready to say. Okay, now put your hand in where my hand is. We're gonna say this thing on three. 1, 2, 3. Let's lock in. All right, folks, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of everything that is going on in the league right now. So before we get into the statements of Woody Johnson and Robert Saleh, we have to talk about somewhat of the breaking news that just happened. The Jets intern head coach Jeff Ulbrich just concluded his first press conference as the interim head coach, and basically have decided to give the primary play calling responsibilities to Todd Downing, and as well as keep Nathaniel Hackett on the coaching staff. No changes to his title, as I've said before in the intro. As well as Jeff Ulbrich will be, of course, the intern head coach, defensive coordinator, and primary defensive play caller. Now, when we look at this, a lot of turnover, a lot of change. Now, do I think this was something that was probably going to come down the pipeline anyway? Probably. And the reason why I say that is because the Jets offense has been very stagnant. It's been very lackluster, if you would somewhat describe it. It's not been the best, and they still leave a lot of meat on the bone, per se. And when we look at it, that Jets offense has talent. Okay, I don't care what anyone says, the Jets offense does have some talent. You have two really good running backs in Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. Okay, you got your Thunder and your Lightning. Okay, you have Garrett Wilson, you have Alan Lazard, you have Aaron Rodgers. They're supposed to be doing something, right? And the offense really. This is what I'll say. The London game said a lot, which is, one, Aaron Rodgers has definitely regressed, and the offense needs to do a little bit more, because again, the defense is doing everything, right? The defense was keeping them in the game, right? But the offense, they just couldn't do it. They couldn't put points on the board. They couldn't make the big plays that needed to be made, and Aaron Rodgers decision making was, very lackluster, and there was a point in time in the game where you can definitely tell that he was just over it, that he was just done with the game in its entirety. So you have all those things that basically amounted, to the decision that is right now. Because at this point, what people don't realize is before Robert Saleh got fired, if they win against the Bills, I think they play Monday night, if I'm not mistaken, they will be first in their division. First in their division, which is amazing, honestly speaking, with all the turmoil, all the foolishness and the crap that is associated with the Jets. So a lot is riding on this week. And I think Robert Saleh probably realized, like, hey, I have to make a major change. I have to do something different because we are on the cusp of doing something different than what we were supposed to do last year. And, we could put ourselves in a great position, not only right now, but later on down the road once, we get to talking about the playoffs and whatnot. Because why? The division is there's still a lot of uncertainty in the division. You would have thought that the Dolphins would be dominant. The Bills will be dominant. No, they haven't. They're still going through their own wildfires, per se. The Dolphins are still trying to figure out what they're going to do, with this whole Tua situation. And the Bills are trying to figure out, what can they do to, pump pump the team up. Because let's be real here. The Bills offense is stagnant. Those receivers, Josh Allen does not trust those receivers. The only receiver that he probably really trusts a lot is Khalil Shakur, and that's because he's been with Josh Allen the longest. Curtis Samuel doesn't look like it's working. Mac Hollins doesn't look like it's working. Keon Coleman, he's a rookie, so he's still learning a lot of these things. They have to figure out what they want to do. And not to mention that defense is not doing well either. So you have all of those things that's going on. And, the Jets are in a prime position where they can do a lot. Oh, I forgot. The Jets also have Mike Williams as well. So, again, they're in a really good place right now. And they can't make it up. Now, transition that over to what has happened. For people who do not know, Robert Saleh got fired. What was it? What's today? Thursday? He got fired, I think, Tuesday? Either Tuesday or Wednesday. So, finally, we have statements from the both of them, from both Woody Johnson and Robert Saleh. So let's just get into it. So this is from Woody Johnson, right? According from an article from Judy Batista. No, I don't think it's Batista. I think it's Batista. I don't know. My apologies. So this is basically what he said, and I quote: This is one of the most talented teams that has ever been assembled by the New York Jets. I wanted to give this team the most opportunity to win this season. I feel that we had to go in a different direction, and that's why I did that today. The change I believe, will bring new energy and positivity that will lead to more wins starting now. Okay. Now, before I get anything, I was getting ready to go in, but I'm not. Let's read Robert Saleh's statement as well, and then we're gonna really dissect everything. Okay. So this is what Robert Saleh said. To the Jets organization, I am grateful to have had the opportunity to work with so many incredible people. I will always be appreciative of the love and support from everyone at One Jets Drive. Okay, that's weird. That must be the street name or something. I don't know. To all the players, I truly love and appreciate every single one of you. To the character of the men in the locker room, made coaching you guys the ultimate okay, wow. It's definitely the coffee. Through all the ups and downs, each and every one of you showed up every day and attacked every moment. To my fellow coaches and staff, it has been an honor to work with all of you. Every one of you were all in and made sacrifices for one another that will never be forgotten. I wish you all the very best luck for the remainder of the season. To the most passionate fan base in the NFL, thank you for embracing my family. It has been a pleasure calling New York our home, and we will forever appreciate all the memories that that were created here with love and regard. All gas, no brakes. Robert Saleh. Now, this is what I will say. I call BS. Okay? I call BS. And the reason why I call BS is because you are not going to make this type of decision just instantly. Okay? You're just not. This is something that has been simmering for a while. And probably after this game, this game probably had a lot riding on it. And so Woody Johnson probably, him being the indecisive owner that he is and very impulsive owner that he is, he probably realized after that game, you know what? Okay, I think I just need to get rid of him. That's what it feels like. That's what it seems like, because when we look at this, Robert Salah, okay, yes. Did he, does he have the best coaching record? No. Did he make a lot of decisions that probably weren't the best? Probably. Every head coach does. But the fact of the matter is that defense has been dominant since he's been there, and you cannot tell me that that defense has not been at least top 10 or top 15 since he's been there. You can't tell me that. They've been doing their thing. That's the defense has basically been carrying the workload of the entire team. And so what we have here is someone, once again, as I've said before, being the sacrificial lamb. Oh, and then not to mention, apparently it was told and it was reported that Woody Johnson talked to Aaron Rodgers the night before that Robert Salah was fired. Now they've all said that, it wasn't, he didn't ask for Aaron Rodgers, opinion about, Robert Salah and whatnot. I call BS on that as well. You are not going to make that decision and not consult Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is the second most powerful person in that organization right now. Whatever he says goes, especially for the offense. Okay? So Aaron Rodgers has pull. He's just not just this ordinary, quarterback. That he has pull. He has pull, just like how Tom Brady had pull when he went to Tampa, and just like how Peyton Manning went to the Broncos. They had pull. Now, I'm not saying they had a whole bunch of pull, but they were able to call the shots on certain decisions, okay? And this is what happened. This is what happened. If we're being real here, there was probably some smoke and there was probably some rumors and murmurs going around that Nate Hackett was probably going to lose his play calling responsibilities after the London game. It was probably going to be reported. It was probably going to be, finalized. And so am I going to, be the conspiracy theorist and say, oh, it's against Robert Salah? No, I'm not going to do that. But what I am saying is this. It's a little bit weird when, just out of the woodworks, you decide to fire your head coach when you guys are literally just a game away from being first in your division. The defense is doing their job. And just the offense needs to be more aggressive when it comes to the play calling and making, big plays, right? That's it. That's all the Jets have to do. If the Jets become better with their play calling, I guarantee you we will see a different team. And I guarantee you will start to see more wins than losses. And that, you will see more production, not only out of Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard and, company, but out of Aaron Rodgers as well. Because again, they've put all their money in the table for Aaron Rodgers. They believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to be the person that's going to carry them to the Super Bowl. Now, do I believe that? No, I do not, because he is too indecisive. He's just regressed. Let's just be honest here. He has regressed. Okay? Some of the things that he does now, he would have never done it in his prime. He wouldn't have. And, he doesn't, to me, this is just my personal, honest opinion here. He doesn't look like he's fully committed. He doesn't look like he's fully committed to winning, right? Tom Brady, he was fully committed to winning. And if he was not fully committed to winning, he would have walked. He would have walked earlier than what he did. The same thing with Peyton Manning. You never have to question their commitment. I have to question Aaron Rodgers' commitment. I do. Because again, you are the voice in the face of this, of this locker room. And you have been to a place that none of those players have really been to. You've been to the Super Bowl. You've won a Super Bowl, right? You've won MVPs. When you walk away from this game, you are going to get a gold jacket. All of those accolades and more. So your voice has to be the biggest voice out of everybody. You have enough power and enough experience as a quarterback to change a play, tweak something, slide the protections, All those different types of things. You have that power, Aaron. So why in the world do you not do it? You have to be committed to this thing because guess what? A lot of players decided to go to the Jets than other teams because of you. Not because of they were giving more money, not because of this or that or this roster spot or that roster spot, because they felt like, guess what? If I go to the Jets and if I pair myself up with Aaron Rodgers, I have a better chance at going to a place that I have only dreamed about and I really want to go to. That's what it is. Now, am I going to say that, after this change that, maybe the team will go on this amazing run and they win out? No, I'm not saying that, but who knows? This is a wait and see type of situation because I guarantee you, if this continues, they continue to lose and that offense continues to be stagnant, you are going to hear more and more leaks come out. I guarantee it. Not to mention, the trade deadline is not too far away. I would not be surprised if there are some offensive players, especially those receivers, that want out. I would not be surprised. But moving forward, because nobody cares about the Jets. Nobody does. Nobody does. Okay. Now, we got Thursday night football tonight, 49ers and Seahawks, classic matchup. Now, if you was watching football during the Legion of Boom era and whatnot, it used to be a really physical match. It used to be physical. I'm talking about super physical. Anytime you had the 49ers and the Seahawks back in the day, oh man, just get your popcorn ready. It's gonna be a drag out fight. Now, this is what I will say about this. The 49ers have, they're coming off of a loss, okay? Both teams are coming off of losses and they're looking to get back into the winning column, okay? Both of them, okay? The 49ers have won the last 5 games against Seattle by 12 points, according to NFL Pro. Junkie Nugget right there. Byron Murphy, Tyreek Woolen, and Uchenna Nwasu are out for this game. Well, what's his name? Hufanga? I think that's his name. Hufanga? Yeah, I think it is. Hufanga and then Jordan Elliott for the 49ers are out as well. Geno Smith has thrown for over 280 passing yards in the last 4 games and less than 2 touchdowns in all 5 games of this season, okay? Brock Purdy has thrown for less than 2 touchdowns in his last 7 out of 8 games, dating back to last season, including the playoffs, okay? And the Seahawks have generated the 7th highest pressure rate to dropbacks at 37%. Now, when we dissect all of these junkie nuggets and whatnot, according to NFL Pro here, the fact of the matter is the Seahawks defense has definitely been balling out lately, right? And they've definitely been a little bit more effective against the blitz. Now the question is, with Tyreek Woolen being out and with Byron Murphy being out, exactly how are they going to do things now? Because again, this is still the 49ers. They are still a dangerous team. That offense is still lethal, with or without Christian McCaffrey. Okay. You still have Brandon Ayuk, you still have Deebo Samuel, you still have George Kittle, okay? You still have that 3-headed monster. And then you also have Juan Jennings as well, who's also been having a dynamic year as well. So you have all of that, okay? Including the run game as well. So I just want to see exactly how are the 49ers going to be able to be effective against this 49ers defense. I can't speak against this Seahawks defense. Because let's be real here, folks. This Seahawks defense, it is only maybe another draft and maybe offseason away from being a top 2 or top 3 defense, okay? That secondary, they are physical. They want to get in your face, and they play ball, okay? They play from Tyreek Woolen to Kobe Bryant, not the other Kobe Bryant, Julian Love, all of them guys, Devin Witherspoon, they want to be in your face. They want to play football, okay? They're not trying to, just play around. No, they are here to take your head off, okay? That's the mentality that they come in, and it's great. Since Mike McDonald has been the head coach, he has just injected that defense with just physicality and just this grit with them. The grit that we've been looking, the grit that the Seahawks fans have definitely been looking for since the Legion of Boom. And honestly speaking, this secondary sort of gives me Legion of Boom type of vibes. Honestly speaking, I'm just being real here. But the Seattle Seahawks offense, secretly has definitely been really effective lately. I will say that they've definitely been pretty good. I definitely want to see, how DK Metcalf is going to line up against Charvarius Ward. I know that's going to be a very chippy matchup in itself. I definitely want to see, are the Seahawks going to try to run the ball more, especially with how beat up the 49ers defensive line has been lately, with them not having Javon Hargrave and company. So this is definitely going to be a game I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on, just because a lot is riding on this. A lot is riding on this because I truly believe the Seahawks are a dark horse for the playoffs. I do. I think depending on what they do during the, what is it, trade deadline? Yeah. I can't even think. I'm so excited about this episode. Based on what they do with the trade deadline, where they try to get another offensive piece or defensive piece, I think that's going to tell you, and that's going to set the bar of exactly where they're going to go moving forward. Because again, the 49ers, yes, they are still a dangerous team, but they are a little bit wobbly, and they know that they are way more dangerous with Christian McCaffrey than without Christian McCaffrey, right? And so I just want to see exactly what exactly are they going to do at this point. Because again, the 49ers, you lost to the Cardinals. You shouldn't have lost to the Cardinals, if we're being real here. But we've seen crazier things any given Sunday, all that, chit chatter, blah, blah, blah. Now, moving on to the game that everybody wants to talk about, everybody wants to see, the Commanders and the Ravens. Now, if you do not live in the DMV, you won't know anything what I'm talking about. But just know, Commanders fans and Ravens fans, most of the times when they face against each other, it is a drag out game. Okay, it's definitely if you think the Cowboys and Commanders game is something, go to a Ravens and Commanders game. Okay, just know it's going to be ultra competitive. It's going to be a drag out. Okay, it's going to, honestly, you know what? It's going to be a shootout in my mind. I think it's really going to be a shootout because you have two of the best quarterbacks who are playing at a very elite level right now. Okay, you have I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers. I don't know why. You got Jaden Daniels, who's looking like a rookie of the year and maybe offensive rookie of the year, and you have Lamar, who is looking like another MVP season as well. Not to mention, the Ravens have King Henry now, so you have oh my God. The combinations, folks. The combinations are crazy. Now, this is, I think, the few questions that I do have with this game moving forward is, how will the Ravens be able to limit Jaden Daniels' explosiveness? Because, again, we know that Jaden Daniels can beat you with his legs as well as with his arm, okay? So exactly how are the Ravens going to do that? As well as, how will the Commanders limit the Ravens running game? Because let's be real here, folks. Derrick Henry is he's moving and grooving, okay? He got some motion right now. And, it's going to be hard to bring down King Henry. It is. And, the Commanders defense, it's good, but it can be better, and it will get better, okay? So I just want to know, we won't be able to know until the game happens, of course, but how effective will the Commanders, run defense be against someone like a Derrick Henry? Because Derrick Henry is that tank of a man is going to be running folks over, okay? He is going to put somebody in the ground on this game. I am so excited. Forget about the Steelers and Raiders game. I don't even care about that game. I want to see this. They should have made this game the Sunday night game. I would have stayed up and watched this, okay? Just being real here. Now, I will say this. I can't even speak. I'm so excited about this game. You guys don't understand. you guys don't understand how much this game is so exciting. As someone that lives in the DMV, you are going to see two of the most emotional fan bases come together, and this is going to be a game that people are going to be talking about for the rest of the year. But I think the question that I do have is, how's the Commander secondary going to hold up against against those Raven receivers, especially Mark Andrews? I think this is probably a game where Mark Andrews could definitely go off low key, because I get that the Commanders do have Bobby Wagner, and they have the other linebacker. I forgot what his name was, but Mark Andrews, he's been looking to gain some momentum and whatnot. And I think this is the perfect game for him to do it. In my mind, and this will probably be the name of the episode, it's Prove It Week. It's Prove It Week for a lot of teams. It is Prove It Week, okay? Because this game right here, this Commanders and Ravens game, this is going to prove who has not only the best offense, but who is most likely definitely going to win their division and possibly make a playoff run. Because in my mind, I think the Commanders are definitely in a position this year where they could make it into the wild card, maybe even somewhat make a playoff run. Now, I'm not saying they're going to make it to the NFC Championship. No, I am not. But what I am saying is this. They got some firepower. And I think if they do a little bit more on that defense, whoo, good God Almighty, you got yourselves a problem. You got yourselves a problem, okay? Now, on to the Steelers and Raiders. Yes, yeah. Woo, Steelers, yay, yeah, Steelers, yeah, cool. No one cares. Unfortunately, yeah. But here we are. Steelers and Raiders, old classic rivalry. I definitely feel like this is definitely going to be, again, it's going to be a prove it game. This is a game for both teams that need some momentum, that needs, they just need a win, right? Because again, the Steelers are coming off a horrible loss against the Cowboys on primetime television, right? You're coming off a two game losing streak, and losing against the Colts and now the Cowboys. You can't go and lose to the Raiders. You cannot go on a 3-game losing streak. You cannot do that, okay? Now, this is what I will say. Broderick Jones is going to have his hands full against Max Crosby, because now that they don't have Christian Wilkins, Max Crosby is going to be everywhere. And, hopefully Broderick Jones can hold his own against someone like Max Crosby. Now, am I saying that, the Steelers offense is going to ball out? No, I'm not saying that. But, if there is a game where you would want the Steelers offense to definitely show something, it's this game. Not only is this a historically, rival game, but this is a game where that Raiders defense, they do have some pieces, but this Raiders defensive line, you can run on. You can definitely run on. And, let's be real here. The Steelers' run game has not been good. It's not even been close to what people think it is. Now, granted, I understand that there's been a lot of injuries and there's been a lot of turnover with the offensive line. I get all of that. But this offense has to be more aggressive. They have to be more aggressive. Because if you do not be aggressive, you're going to cost the game. And again, the defense is banged up, okay? TJ Watt is the only real healthy, pass rusher that they really have right now. Alex Highsmith is out. Nick Herbig is out. Who else do you have? They have to do something this game. They have to ball out both sides of the ball. The defense has to be just as dominant as the offense. And, we finally have heard some things with George Pickens and, that whole debacle. And, this is what I will say. And I really had to think about this, for a few days now. George Pickens, he doesn't look like he just want to be here. He doesn't. He does not look like he wants to be here. You can tell by his posture and just the way that he's talking and whatnot, that he does not want to be here. That he, is just trying to, I don't even know. I really don't know. I'm frustrated with this because George Pickens has all the talent in the world to be dynamic, to be a very dynamic, explosive, superstar. But he has so much of an ego and so much of an attitude problem that it just makes you not want to deal with him. It doesn't. You know, there was somebody that asked him about the black paint or black tape that he had in the message that he had on there, because Cam Hayward got fined for it, a few years ago, and they asked George Pickens about it, and he was like, well, that has nothing to do with me. I wasn't in the league, when he was there, and basically, this is not what you want. This is not what you want, okay? Because let's be real here. This was supposed to be a year that was going to show if George Pickens can lead the offense and be a leader in that receiver room. And so far he has not done that. He has shown that he is still unprofessional, unmature, and that he does not deserve to be paid like a true franchise receiver. He has not shown that. He has shown that he still lacks the maturity to do so. I get it. I get you want to be the person that makes the big play. I get that you want to be the person that makes the dynamic catch or scores the game sealing touchdown and whatnot. I get all that. But guess what? Everybody else wants to do it too. Everybody else does. From Calvin Austin to Scotty Miller to Van Jefferson, all of those guys want to. But you know what? You don't see them complaining. You don't see them complaining. You don't see them throwing their helmet on the ground and having a basically a hissy fit on the sideline. You don't see them doing that. Not to mention, you pulled the dudes. You basically face masked the corner just out of spite, just cause. If you're doing this now, what makes you think 31 other teams would give you an opportunity to make some real money? Because guess what? There are 31 other GMs, 31 other head coaches that are looking at what you're doing right now, that are looking at the responses that you are giving out. And guess what? When you realize that nobody wants to give you the money that you think that you deserve, guess what? We're going to recycle everything that you have done. Because guess what? Teams are not going to invest into you no matter how much talent that you have. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it if you have a crappy attitude. And that's what it is. He has a crappy attitude. You can't be given these nonchalant answers. You have to be professional. Yes, you're losing right now. Yes, your stats are not the best. But guess what? Everybody is trying to be better. Everyone on that offense. What gives you the excuse to have a hissy fit over everybody else? What gives you that excuse? Nothing. Because guess what? You're not as productive as AB or any of the other receivers in the past. So you don't have a right to do that. The difference is with AB, despite all of his antics, you knew that once he got on the field, he was about the business. That's all he was about. He was about the business. Anything you asked him to do, he was going to do it. If it means that he was going to run a route just to get the attention of the defense, just so somebody else can be open, he was going to do it, as well as make the dynamic play. But George, on the other hand, wants to half-ass and jog and not fully commit to running his routes. That is not somebody that you want to pay, top dollar money for. That's not. That is somebody that is worth a 1 year, $4 to $5 million deal, and is really heavy on the incentives. Not to mention, apparently, according to an article that came out from I can't even speak, from Steelers reporter Ray Filippo, apparently George Pickens has showed up late a few times this season. So I'm saying all that to say this: I would not be surprised if George Pickens gets traded. I would not be surprised. And even when Diana Rossini, tweeted out, I think it was maybe, what was it? Was it last week? I think it was last week. Was it? It was last week. Basically, and it showed, I think, Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, and then it showed George Pickens. Now, at first, I was like, I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. But after this past game, oh, for sure. Because guess what? Mike Tomlin is not going to continue to stick his neck out and try to defend you when you are continuing to do these childish things on and off the field. He's not going to do it. That's why Chooks got benched. Because why? Chooks said something in the earway of Mike Tomlin, and guess what happened? He got benched. He got benched after he just got a deal, after he just got an extension with the team. And they chose Broderick Jones. Broderick, play a right tackle. So I say all that to say this. If you are feeling some type of way about how things are going, that's perfectly fine. But there is a way that you have to translate that. Because if you don't, guess what's going to happen? They're going to ship your ass. And when they ship your ass, they're going to put you somewhere where it's going to be even worse. Because I guarantee you, Andy Reid you wouldn't be having this problem with Andy Reid. You wouldn't be having this problem with Sean McVay, a Kyle Shanahan, a Matt LaFleur, any of those other coaches. They would be done with you. They would rather cut you, get somebody from another practice squad or somebody that's on the street and give them a chance before they give you a chance. Just because of how bad and how crappy your attitude is. I'm sorry I had to go on that whole rant, but it just had to be said. It had to be said because time and time again, the Steelers have continued to have lately a receiver attitude problem. From Chase Claypool to a little bit of Juju and now George Pickens. AB, that's a whole different monster in itself because guess what? Even though he had the antics, he still showed up. He showed up. You never had to question. You never had to look at any all 22 film and see him jogging on the field to run his routes. He was fully committed at practice. He was fully committed off the field. Now, what he did off the field, that is solely up to him because he's a grown man. But what we have right here, folks, is basically someone who is acting like he does not want to get paid top dollar money. Like he does not want to be the superstar that everyone knows that he can be. That's what we have here. That's what we have here. Now, moving forward, I think another thing that we really need to talk about is who is going to cover Brock Bowers. Because Brock Bowers, he's been doing his thing lately. He has been. He has been low-key one of the best tight ends, in that draft class. He really has. And so, will it be Patrick Queen? Will they bring Deshaun Elliott down, to the line of scrimmage and have him play more in the box to cover Brock Bowers? Will they call up will they give a helmet to Terrell Edmonds? Who exactly is going to be given the responsibility to cover Brock Bowers? Because guess what? Even though the Raiders don't have Devontae Adams and they may not have Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers, he can do something. He can make a play or two. He can do something. Okay. Now the Raiders, unfortunately, they have named Aiden O'Connell as the starting quarterback. So Aiden O'Connell is not somebody that you just sleep on. Okay, because he can attack you. He can attack you from the pocket, and he can attack you low-key outside of the pocket as well. So let's just see exactly what is going to happen because I guarantee you, if the Steelers lose this game, there's going to be a lot of questions that are going to have to be asked, not only for this coaching staff, but also for Mike Tomlin, because this is a Mike Tomlin thing. You lose the games that you're not supposed to lose, and you win the games that you're not supposed to win. He does it every single time, every single year. I don't understand why, but it always happens. So, and for the people out there that says, well, Russell Wilson needs to be playing this game. Russell Wilson does not need to play this game. Justin Fields needs to be the primary starter of this game because Justin Fields needs to get his get back. This again, as I've said before, the title is Prove It Week. He has to prove that he is still in the running to get this job. He has to do it. He has to ball out. He has to be more better when it comes to his vision. He has to be better when it comes to his decision making. He has to be better with his throws. All those different types of things. Because guess what? If he just put a little bit more juice on that throw to Darnell Washington, that's a touchdown right there. Guaranteed touchdown right there. Because guess what? Nobody can cover almost a 6'8" tight end who basically could double as a right tackle. No one. No one. That's Justin Fields has all the talent in the world to be a starting caliber quarterback. He does. And for the people that are bashing him for it, guess what? Y'all weren't bashing him when he was coming out of Ohio State, because guess what? The same problems that were there when he was at Ohio State and Chicago are still here. Now they've come up a little bit recently, and that happens. But he has to be a better quarterback. He has to be better in all phases of the game, because if you don't, they're going to put Russell Wilson in. They're wanting to put Russell Wilson in. Now, do I feel like, Arthur Smith and maybe the rest of the coaching staff probably, trust, Russell Wilson more? Yes. But the thing is, Russell Wilson does not have that athleticism that is needed for the play action rollouts and the boots and all those different types of things. He doesn't have it. Justin Fields do. So, again, let's see what happens in this game. Just know, if we lose this game, it might turn into a rant episode. I'm just letting you guys know, okay? So, where are we at right now? 41 minutes. Okay, yeah, good. Good spot. Now, last thing we need to talk about. Whew, I feel so better now that I got that off my chest. Browns versus Eagles. Yes, Browns versus Eagles. Now, these are just a few junky nuggets that I decided to just write down and whatnot. So both are coming off of bad losses. Now the Eagles are coming off of their bye, but before the bye they were coming off of a bad loss. And the Browns offense, they need to be more effective. They put up 15.8 points per game, which is 30th in the league. 30th. Their close game record is 1-2. Okay? The Eagles have not won a game by more than 8 points since week 7 of last year. Right now, the Eagles are averaging 21.5 points per game, which is 18th in the league. The Eagles have to do more. Okay? The Eagles have to do more. Jalen Hurts it's starting to not look good for Jalen Hurts. Okay? I understand that you guys got a new offensive coordinator this offseason. I get all of that, but his decision making and whatnot is not looking the best. And if we can be real here, this Eagles offense does not look like a playoff caliber offense. It doesn't. Granted, they got Saquon, and Saquon's been balling out. It's just everybody else around him that hasn't really been doing anything, and I get it. Their main receivers in AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, is still in concussion protocol and whatnot. I get all of that, but it's still next man up. It's still next man up. This is again prove it week. I think this is going to be a new thing. I think I like that. I like that ring. See, best podcast in the world. Okay, best podcast in the world. This is a prove it week. This is a prove it week not only for the players but also for the coaches as well. Because again, Nick Sirianni, his seat is getting hot. It's getting hot. They're adding more wood to the flame. They're adding more air to the flame because guess what? I'm telling you right now, that Eagles owner, he wants to win. He does not care if he has to get rid of a head coach just so he can bring somebody else in and better their chances of winning. Because guess what? They've been to the Super Bowl lately. He wants to go back there, and this time he wants to win. He wants to win. And Nick Sirianni has not been doing the best job. Now, for whatever reason, I don't understand why they decided to release Devin White when they should have been trying to use Devin White. Because let's be real here. That Eagles defense, it's not been the best. Not when you have that much firepower on the defense. When you have Josh Sweat, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Brandon Graham, even though he's up in age, he's still playing at a really high level. You got Big Play Slay, you got James Bradbury, you got Quinyon Mitchell, you got Cooper DeJean, you got CJ Gardner-Johnson. That roster should be dominating right now, and they're not. It's not looking good for the Eagles. It is not looking good for the Eagles. in my mind right now, the NFC team that the two NFC teams that everybody really needs to be focused on is the Vikings and the Lions. And it's mainly primarily the Lions, because the Lions, you know, as physical as the defense is, that offense is too. They can beat you in the air as well as in the ground. They can do that. And, you know, this Eagles team, they're starting off really shaky. Now they can, you know, if they win this game, they can, you know, get back on straight street and whatnot. But if they don't, it's not looking good. There's going to be a lot of questions that are going to be asked. It really is. So, you know, for the Browns, I don't even know really what to say about the Browns. I really don't, because the Browns are in a situation where, you know, they have to stop the bleeding, because the Browns offense, it hasn't been as productive as I've said before. As I just said, the Browns are averaging 15.8 points per game. 15.8. With the talent they have, with David Njoku, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Deshaun Watson, they should be putting up some more numbers. I don't know if I don't know, you know, what the Browns can do, but, you know, if I'm management and if I'm, you know, Kevin Stefanski, I will possibly look into maybe drafting a quarterback, you know, this offseason. I will look into it, because you let Joe Flacco go, which was a dumb move, because now you see Joe Flacco is doing his thing with the Colts. You let him walk. You're thinking that Deshaun Watson is going to do his thing, and so far he hasn't. Deshaun Watson looks like a deer in headlights. That offense does not look like they trust him anymore. You have to do something here. With as much talent as they have invested on both sides of the ball, they have to do more. They have to win this game. This game is a must win for both sides of the ball. And and I'm telling you, if the Eagles lose this game, there's going to be just as many questions if the Eagles lose as well as the Browns. It is. Both sides are going to have a lot of questions that they're going to have to ask if neither one of these teams lose. But I'm going to end this here. Dang it, I told you guys I was going to keep this light, but I guess it didn't happen. But I'm going to end this here. If you guys like what you're listening, please like, share, you know, subscribe, download this episode, send this episode to anybody else so we can spread the Football Junkies name and news and notoriety to everybody else and turn more football addicts into football junkies, okay? Now, for my YouTube people, Football Junkies Pod, okay? Football Junkies Pod. Like, share, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, leave a comment down below. Better yet, tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts on the Jets. Tell me your thoughts about George Pickens. Better yet, tell me your thoughts about your favorite team, okay? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, for my Instagram people, Football_Junkies Pod, okay? Football_Junkies Pod. Junkies Pod is not what? It is together, not spaced. I'm going to say that again. It is together, not spaced. Same thing for the TikTok, Football_Junkies Pod, okay? Football_Junkies Pod. Now, as always, I hope I gave you guys the fix that you guys need. I'm going to be watching this game tonight. I'm going to be taking a lot of notes. We're going to have a lot to talk about come next week. Just know it's going to be a packed episode next week. I was going to do early trade predictions this episode, but I was like, nah, I'll probably put it off until after this game, because I feel like, you know, after this week, I think there's going to be a lot of, you know, rumblings and more people saying, oh, this person is available for a trade. That person is available for a trade. Oh, I forgot to add this, especially for the Steelers and Raiders game. I think if the Steelers do raid, I'm thinking about the Raiders too much. If the Steelers do win this game, I think it could maybe change Devontae Adams' mind as well on, you know, going to the Jets or the Saints. Because let's be real here. The Jets are having just as many problems as the Saints. The Saints, Derek Carr is going to be out for a while with his old oblique injury. So just saying here, folks. But as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for listening. Peace and love. And I am out of here.